Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Christy and I'm not in my office today. I'm actually multitasking. I am getting my nails done with my friend, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. And I was like, Rebecca, listen, I've got things I need to do today. Can I film a YouTube as we're doing my nails? And she's like, sure, girl. So what I'm saying is Rebecca is used to my antics. Rebecca is one of my friends who came to New Orleans when I did like the grand opening of my Airbnb. So has been out with Christy in New Orleans. I should actually say I've been out with Rebecca in New Orleans, if I'm being honest. Her and her friend, Allie, they were a time. But I wanted to jump in here and share with you guys one of my favorite experiences that I have had the honor and privilege of doing. And that is actually my girls and I got invited to the opening of the World of Frozen in Disneyland Paris last week. And my brain could barely handle it. It could barely handle it. I was telling my friend this morning that baby Christy would have never even been able to comprehend the fact that, first of all, there was a Disneyland in Paris, and the fact that we got to go before the World of Frozen opened to the general public. So I am so thankful and grateful to the team at Disney for the invite. I'm going to share with you guys some of the highlights of it, because if you ever have a chance to visit Paris or Europe, please put Disneyland Paris on your itinerary because you will not regret it. So the first thing I have to say is Disneyland in Paris has a different vibe than Disneyland or Disney World, because like just the Europeanness of it feels a little bit more fairy tale. I think because so many fairy tales are based on European stories. So even just their general decor makes it feel kind of more like you're just in a fairy tale. First of all, what happened was I'm on tour with Kelly. Kelly and I are on tour for Back to the Bar, which if you haven't grabbed tickets yet, you definitely need to come and see us. I'll link that in the bio. But we were on tour and we were in DC, New York City, and Boston. And on my flight between Boston and New York City, I left my purse on the flight. And I always take my passport out of my purse and put it in my carry-on. I'm like hyper vigilant about it because I'm so absent-minded. If I don't have a system, I'm always afraid I'm gonna lose my passport. However, because we were late and our flight was canceled and we were trying to get to New York City, I left my passport in my purse, and then I left my purse on the flight. And I was supposed to be leaving the next morning, two mornings from them, to go to Paris, and I had no passport. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss this. And meanwhile, my girls were flying from New York to Paris, and then I was gonna fly. They were flying on Thursday. I was flying on Friday to meet them from Boston to Paris after our Boston show. So during the New York show, our tour director, I said to him, keep calling the airport. If they find my purse, I need you to tell me during the show, because I was so upset and worried about it. And he actually came on the loudspeaker during the show and was like, Christy, we've recovered your purse. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. If you were at the New York show, you saw me in real time find out that I could actually go. So finished the show in Boston, woke up at the crack of dawn on Friday, went and got on like a 40 zillion hour flight. I think it was only like 7.5 hours, but whatever, to London Heathrow, landed, did the connection, arrived in Paris around 11:30 at night. And then I had to transfer from the airport to the hotel, and it's about a 45-minute drive or so. And I had to get up very early the next day for the World of Frozen events. And all I kept thinking was, I'm gonna, I have to get up early. So I wasn't really thinking about walking into the Disneyland hotel. So when we got there, all of my luggage went through security, which is unusual because we don't do that in the US. And then the doors opened and it was like 1 a.m. There was no one in the lobby. And to tell you that I literally gasped when I saw that the lobby is not an understatement. I just wasn't expecting it. And it was so unbelievably stunning. I went, and then I took a few minutes to look around and really like soak in the moment. Go upstairs, my girls were asleep, get in, take a very short nap, and we wake up the next morning and we got ready and we went to breakfast, and we were sat at breakfast right across from the castle. So we had the most exquisite view of the castles. We were having breakfast and all the princesses were coming to the table. Their European gowns are so pretty. Like they're even more spectacular than they are at Disney World. So we had breakfast and then we went and we met the influencer team at Disneyland Paris, and they took us in and we had access to the world of Frozen for the entire morning before anyone else did. As we were walking in, I was watching my girls, because we all know the story of Frozen is about sisters, and watching my girls see all of this for the first time, I cried 17 times. And when Clara was little, she was the perfect age to be obsessed with Frozen. She was like the real Elsa. If you ever sang Let It Go around 4-year-old Clara, she would get violent with you. She's like, that's my song, I'm Elsa. We walked in and we just were immersed in this land. It is Arendelle. Like, it is Arendelle. We got to ride the Frozen ride, which it's very similar to the one in Epcot, which is my all-time favorite ride. And then just being in the village and seeing the lake and the ice fountain. And then we met Oaken, Big Summer Blowout, which was super fun. And then we met the baby troll. She was so cute. And of course we met Anna and Elsa, because how do you not? And it was really sweet because Clara was like, you're my favorite. Now Clara is 16, so we all know 16-year-olds aren't exactly, always invested in the experience, but she totally was. And it was really fun because like Clara even got her hair braided like Elsa. She got this beautiful hairdo with a snowflake in it. Chloe was wearing a crown. We just got to be in this Disney fantasy world and we had the best time. And then they have a new Tangled ride, gondolas, and it's like the teacups. So we rode that. I am glad that we have a little Rapunzel representation because I think Rapunzel's really fun. So we did that. We had lunch at, I'm not going to remember the name of the restaurant, but it was wonderful. And then we left, ran back, put on some warmer clothes because it was freezing. Look, I was wearing fur. I was like channeling my inner Jill. I was wearing fur, but it was white fur and I had like a crown headband on because, when in Rome or France, when in Paris. And we went back, and at that point they were having like the grand opening ceremonies, which every Disney executive on the planet was there. So we walked in and they had like a big stage set up. The head of Disney welcomed everyone. I was standing next to Jennifer Lee, who was the director of Frozen, who I had actually met before. And like we have some friends in common. So this poor woman, I think, assaulting her. So then we were standing there and these two adorable girls that were like teenager and 20s turned around and they were chatting with us and they were like huge fans, and their mom turned around and she starts chatting with us and somehow like, what are you doing here? And she says, are you ready? Well, my husband and I wrote all the music for Frozen. And I was like, and I knew exactly who she was, Kristen Anderson Lopez and her husband, Robert Lopez. And I was like, I watched you win Oscars for this. And we found out that her older daughter was actually the young lady who sang the first verse of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Kat. She was adorable. And then her little sister was like the voice of the baby troll. So they were the nicest family ever, the nicest. And it turns out Robert is a 2-time EGOT winner. So I'm standing there and I'm like, just in awe of these people that we're watching the opening of the world of Frozen with the people who created the world. So then the singer, I believe she was Santa from France, and this little boy behind us goes, oh man, that's not the real Santa Claus, when she came out. But she performed on this amazing ice piano with smoke coming out of it. And then the greatest moment of my life happened. On stage, when Do You Want to Build a Snowman started, Olaf walked out on his little snowball feet. Like, he is an animatronic figure that only exists in the world of Frozen in Paris. And apparently he's very high tech and expensive and all these things. So he like doesn't just like wander around. He only comes out on very special occasions, like the opening of World of Frozen. And I literally almost fainted. So then we went in, we had dinner, and we stayed to see the show on the lake. And when I tell you a Disney show in Disneyland Paris is unlike anything you've ever seen, I am not exaggerating. Like, look at some of this footage. The drones during the Avengers sequence, my jaw was on the floor. Oh, and the other part that was really fun is the Avengers campus stayed open after the park closed. So Chloe and Clara, we ran over there and they were riding rides just like privately. just privately. And I kept thinking to myself, how did we end up here? And I was just in disbelief the entire night. Really something amazing and special. I hope that you guys enjoyed sharing it just a little bit, and can't be more grateful and thankful to Disney for allowing us to be part of that. So make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you come and see Kelly and I on the tour because it is great fun. And I will see you back here next week.